How's it going, my dreamers? This is Born to Dream, back with another raid boss guide for you guys. Be sure to leave a like down below if you're enjoying the video. Subscribe for some more Pokemon Go raid boss content, and be sure to check out the playlist if you guys want to see any other raid boss guides. We did just get Alakazam back, and I did do a raid boss guide on Alakazam a while back. So if you are looking to try and solo Alakazam, well, there are actually two videos for Alakazam. Just two of the many videos that I've done on these raid bosses. But anyways, today we are here to talk about Starmie. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or remember this, but long ago, before Gyarados got Waterfall, Kyogre was introduced, and all the other stuff that's happened with water types since then. Starmie used to be one of the best water type attackers. I think it was Starmie and, dare I say, Golduck that were like the two best water type attackers, and they were pretty nice prestigers back when prestiging was available. But we're in 2018 now. Kyogre is king of water types. Gyarados has Waterfall for people that lack a Kyogre, and so Starmie doesn't get as much spotlight. But Niantic decided to make it a raid boss, and I still think Starmie is okay. If you don't have a Kyogre or Gyarados, Starmie isn't the worst thing in the world. But it's very outclassed now compared to when Pokemon Go first came out. But not everybody's doing raid bosses for the actual boss itself. Some people are doing it for the challenge. And Starmie presents a pretty decent challenge. It's not, I don't think it's overly weak to a lot of well, no, I take that back. It is weak to a lot of types. But I mean, I don't think a lot of those types, other than, let's say, T-Tar, are too common, or Gengar. So, and it's got a very good attack stat. Treat Starmie like Gengar or Jinx, like I said in my first solo raid for Starmie. Treat it like Gengar, treat it like Jinx. It's very frail, but it can hit very hard and pretty, well, decently fast. Very fast if you're using it as a offensive Pokemon. So we're looking at 210 attack, 184 defense, 120 HP, which is what we care about the most, is the HP stat when we're talking about raid bosses. Probably stamina and defense, honestly, are two biggest things. And as a raid boss, Starmie isn't terrible on the defensive side, but it's still a little frail compared to other major raid bosses. So yeah, but like I said, Starmie does have quite a few weaknesses as well, and that's something to keep in mind. Something I'll be talking about later anyways. So here is Starmie's moveset, and you can see there's a lot of legacy movesets. I didn't even know it got quick attack. What the hell? Okay, that's interesting. But anyways, the movesets we're worried about are Water Gun, Hydro Pump, Hidden Power, Hydro Pump, Hidden Power, Psychic, Water Gun, Psychic, Quick Attack, Hydro Pump, yeah, right. Water Gun, Power Gem, Hidden Power, Power Gem, and did I catch every single thing? Water Gun, Psychic, Hidden Power, Psychic. Yeah, I got every single one. So those are the 6 movesets you're worried about. Now, as you guys know, Hidden Power can be any type, except for Fairy, I believe. I think Fairy is excluded, but don't quote me on that. So it could pretty much be and normal types, because I don't think you can have Hidden Power normal. So, excluding those, Hidden Power can be any type of attack that it wants to be. It's based on IVs. So yeah, whatever IVs you get, that's the Hidden Power you get. So keep that in mind when you're soloing Starmie. Just because you get, say, like a Hydro Pump Starmie, you might go, oh, I want to go in with all grass types, but then if it has Hidden Power Fire, well, it's gonna do a little more damage. It's not a major game changer, but it's still something you should keep in mind. For for reasons of trying to solo this thing, I guess. So, anyways, we need to talk about its perfect. Well, here's all the weaknesses that Starmie's got here. So, you got Bug, you got Electric, Grass, Dark, and Ghost. So that's like 5 weaknesses. So that is actually kind of bad, but it's got a decent amount of resistances too. It being a Water Psychic type, it resists it. It's 2 stab typings and then Ice, Fighting, Steel, and Fire. So Starmie does have quite a few weaknesses. I mean, you can go in with a lot of. I think the most popular type is going to be the Grass type Pokemon, but you can go with Raikou here. You can go with Gengar here. You can go with Tyranitar as long as Starmie doesn't have any water moves. So, yeah. So that's basically it for that. And then if you want to talk about perfect IVs for Starmie, at level 20, you're looking at 13, 16. And you guys will actually see, I didn't get 100%, but I got a 97%. Somewhere in these videos, you guys will be able to see that. So, yeah, I don't get 100% raid bosses, by the way. So if you ever watch any of my videos expecting me to find a 100% IV raid boss, it's not gonna happen. I probably have videos on YouTube showing a bunch of 97%, but I do not have a 100% raid boss, legendary or non-legendary, and I've probably done over 500 raids. So yeah, it just doesn't happen. I've given up hope at this point for a perfect raid boss, but you guys probably don't care about that. But anyways, if you're looking for a boosted Starmie, so this is going to be in rain or windy weather, your perfect IVs there are going to be 1645. So 1645 is going to be perfect IVs for a level 25 Starmie. So, I didn't miss anything here. Let's go ahead and jump into the counters. That's going to be the most important thing to countering Starmie. So, looking at the counters here, you've got Raikou and Mewtwo as the supreme counters. I would say, well, I mean, they're both very good, but, obviously you want to use Raikou more than you want to use Mewtwo. Raikou is just the best electric type attacker by a long shot. And so, yeah, you pretty much just want to use Raikou if you can. If you do not have a Raikou, though, you have some options. You do have some options. So we got Tyranitar, Groudon, Exeggutor, and Zapdos. So keep in mind that for Groudon and Tyranitar, you probably don't want to go in against its Water-type moveset. And then for Zapdos, you probably don't want to use a Zapdos against a Power Gemming Starmie. So those are things to keep in mind there. And then Exeggutor is pretty much good for any moveset. I think I said in that video with Starmie that Starmie got Ice Beam. Starmie does not get Ice Beam. I thought, and after I saw it had Power Gem, I thought that I thought that Starmie would have Ice Beam as a it's not letting me go Starmie, but I thought it would have a Ice Beam as a legacy moveset. It doesn't even have Ice Beam as a legacy moveset. It's just, it doesn't have it. So that sucks. But it's whatever. And then your glass counter is going to be Gengar. Again, don't use Gengar against that psychic moveset because Gengar is very, very weak to it. Although I probably still use Gengar against Starmie, but that's because it's a level 40 Gengar, and I don't know, I'm decent with dodging for Gengar. I'd like to think so. Not to brag or anything, but yes. Gengar does so much damage to begin with. There's not much to really worry about there. Here's your little chart here. So you guys can see that Raikou and Mewtwo are right here. Gengar is on par with them, but Gengar is very, very frail. And then you got Zapdos, Exeggutor, Sceptile, Venusaur, Rayquaza, Salamence, Dragonite. You got the whole gang here. So, yeah, so that's basically every single Pokemon here that you can use for Starmie. You can use you can use Venusaur, you can use Scizor. Shiftry is kind of interesting. Shiftry actually does work, doesn't it? Because it's a dark type. Interesting. Tangela, Jolteon. You got options. You know, Starmie is pretty weak to a lot of things, so you've got options there. And then, what weather do you want to fight Starmie in? So, these are all the weathers here that I've shown you guys plenty of times. So the boosted weathers are going to be rain and windy weather. Probably don't want to fight a Starmie in windy weather if it has Psychic. But I mean, you will get the level 25 if you beat it, so that's kind of enticing. Rain, if you go in with Raikou, you're fine. So yeah, you shouldn't really care about Hydro Pump too much. Especially if you're able to dodge it, you shouldn't care about Hydro Pump too much. But the easy weathers are probably going to be clear weather and foggy weather. And I think that's it. Ice Steel, Poison Fighting, Fairy, Rock, and Normal. Yeah, it's pretty much these two right here. Partly Cloudy's bad if you are fighting Power Gem. And then these two right here are just kind of eh. I mean, you probably don't want to fight Starmie in the snow either if you're looking to get a boost, because Ice and Steel are resisted moves to Starmie, so that's probably not the best idea. I mean, you can still fight it in the snow, just don't use Steel and Ice types, obviously. But yeah, so I think that's it for Starmie. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll go ahead and jump into the battles right now. Alright, so first up we have Power Gem Starmie. Power Gem Starmie is probably the easiest among the movesets. That's why it is the first one. Unfortunately, Power Gem is just very, very weak. It's a 2-bar move, and traditionally I would put 2-bar moves ahead of 1-bar moves, in that I think 2-bar, generally speaking, are harder than 1-bar because you have to sort of pick and choose when to dodge. You shouldn't dodge every single time against a 2-bar move. But in this case, Power Gem does so little damage, and Psychic and Hydro Pump are both stab moves, so that makes this moveset the weakest. Now, if you're going up against Power Gem Starmie, you're fine going in with grass types. You can go in with your electric types. Power Gem really does not help Starmie whatsoever. I think the only thing Power Gem really helps Starmie with is bug types, and if you think about it, most of the bug types you're probably using in Starmie, such as Scizor or Heracross, if you're not fighting a Psychic moveset Starmie, are just not weak to Power Gem. What is weak to Power Gem is basically Pinsir, but I don't know many people that are using pincers in solos against Starmies. I mean, you may be that person, but I guess if you are that person, don't use Pinsir against Power Gem Starmies. But as you can see, I am using my own bug type here. We're using Scizor, and he's sort of, Fairy Cutter and X-Scissoring away, and he did a decent amount. I would prefer grass types over Scizor. Same thing goes with electric types. but I just used Scizor just to show him off, for you guys that may like Scizor. One thing to note is I didn't use any Raikous for this moveset. Basically what I did for Azumarill 2, I didn't use any electric types, or I didn't use any Raikous for Azumarill either. So, as you guys know, I love using Sceptile because Sceptile is so easy to dodge with. It's just, I love Pokemon that you could just, you know, dodge with easily and get more, you know, charge attacks off. That's why I prefer Leaf Blade over Solar Beam, because although Leaf Blade is weaker, it just feels a little more natural to me. And you're not wasting a Solar Beam or anything like that. So if you're about to faint, you just fire off all the Leaf Blades and then you faint. That's basically it. Same thing goes with Bite, Crunch, T-Tar. Now you can use T-Tar against Power Gem. You can use it against Psychic. Don't use T-Tar against Hydro Pump. But T-Tar is a good Pokemon to use against Starmie. And as you guys can see, we got 13-12. You guys look on the left side, you guys can see that 13-15. I think it's, I'm pretty sure I said 13-15 is the perfect CP. So this is a 97% Starmie, but it's I mean, it's a 97%. The thing about me is I never get 100% raid bosses ever. Like I just went through like most of the raid bosses that I've fought so far, and I probably have about 10 raid bosses that are 97%. I don't have any raid bosses that are 100%. I've never even seen a 100% raid boss, or know of seeing one at least. But yeah, so. Alright, so next up we have Psychic Starmie. It might be Hidden Power Psychic Starmie. This was actually my first Starmie solo for Pokemon Go, but for this moveset, you can use, I did in fact use Gengar for this. I guess you can use Gengar for Psychic Starmie if you have a very high level one. If you're using a low level Gengar, I wouldn't recommend it. But I guess you can use Gengar here. Executor is a very good Pokemon here because Executor can resist Psychic. So that is a major plus for Executor. Executor is already a great raid boss for Starmie, but it's just even better with the Psychic typing. What you shouldn't use here is you shouldn't use any Grass or Poison types, such as like Venusaur, such as what are some others, like Victory Bell, Vileplume. Those Pokemon you shouldn't use against Psychic Starmie, but you can use Executor for Psychic Starmie, and you can use Pokemon that are just pure Grass types too, but I mean, Executor is just better than those Pokemon. So you should probably, if you have a good number of Executors, you should just stick with that. But I mean, you can use Sceptile, you can use Tangela, the typical Grass types, and you can use your Electric types as well. Just the only thing about Psychic is it hits a little harder than Power Gem, but it is a 1-bar move, so once when you dodge a Psychic, you're good for a good couple seconds. So as you can see, I'm kind of anticipating the Psychic. I don't know if I get it in time. Okay, I got it in time. Nice. Yeah, so basically, I think that covers everything. You can use T-Tars also, like I said in the Power Gem video clip. You can use T-Tar against Psychic. It's actually way better using T-Tar for Psychic than for Power Gem. And then you can use other Dark types as well. Here's where you can use stuff like Houndoom. If it's not a Water Gun moveset Starmie, you can use Absol. You can use like Sharpedo. Sharpedo has one of the higher attacks in the game. It's still stupid frail, but you can use Sharpedo as like a glass cannon sort of thing. So you guys got a lot of options for Psychic Starmie. So yeah, and then I think I already mentioned electric types as well. So I actually beat this pretty quickly in about 34 seconds. That's pretty good. Power Gem and Psychic are not very, I don't think they're that great of moves for Starmie, just because they're just not good moves in general. Psychic is, I mean, it is stab, at least, so there's that going for Starmie, but it's just not a very good moveset. So I think these two are probably the easiest. Hydro Pump is probably the harder, and probably what you're going to struggle with most if you are, in fact, struggling with Starmie. Alright, so, last but not least, we have Hydro Pump, and basically every good water type gets Hydro Pump, so Starmie is no exception here. As you guys know, Hydro Pump is a 1-bar move. Hydro Pump is very, very quick, so you have to learn the timing for it. If you don't get the timing down for Hydro Pump, you're going to be in for quite a surprise. So, basically using the same stuff here, you can use Gengar, you can use your Dark types, your Grass types, your Electric types. And I think this is probably where Gengar shines the most against Hydro Pump, as long as you dodge it, which just like that. Yep, just dodge it and you're good, and you can just keep going on and shadow balling this thing. Once again, Grass types are the best mons to use against Starmie for Hydro Pump. So basically any Grass types will do. You can use, you know, your typical Raikus and whatnot. I messed up there, but of course you can use Executors and your Sceptiles and whatnot. Yeah, it's just basically just be aware of how quick Hydro Pump is, and being able to dodge it, or if you have a Pokemon that can swallow it up like I just did right there, that works too. But this, even Hydro Pump isn't too difficult, at least for me, just because Starmie isn't the bulkiest thing in the world. So basically, if you just have a bunch of Solar Beam and Executors, you're good. You shouldn't have too many problems. And they made Executor a level 2 boss again, by the way, so yeah, if you don't have very many Executors, try and stock up on those, because they are great, not just for Starmie, but just for everyday Pokemon Go, I guess. So yeah, but I think that about covers it, and I didn't get I should have dodged that right there. I didn't get the dodge off in time. Going on with Sceptile, and Sceptile is doing the Leaf Blading and Fury Cutting that's normally doing. The nice thing about Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, Sceptile is Fury Cutter is super effective against Starmie, since it is a Psychic type, so you don't really lose much going for Fury Cutter over Bullet Seed. Fury Cutter is generally recommended anyways for Sceptile, just because it's so quick and whatnot. So yeah, but anyways, we managed to take out the Starmie, and I think that about does it for this guide. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. In the next raid boss video, I do have the clips for Claydol, so expect the Claydol raid guide to come up in the next couple days. Also, check out my Twitter if you guys want to see an Aerodactyl solo raid boss guide. I'm kind of 50-50 on it because I feel like Aerodactyl's pretty easy to do, but if people want to see it, then let me know. Let your voice be heard, basically. So I will see you guys later. Keep living the dream. Goodbye.